Welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from Ukraine to share with you. So, we're going to talk more about North Korean troops joining the fight against Ukraine, fighting alongside Russia. And we have this huge report that came out yesterday that I want to show you guys that says no new limits on Ukraine's use of U.S. arms if North Korea joins Russia's fight. This was according to the Pentagon. And this is the deputy Pentagon spokeswoman. Her name is Sabrina Singh. And apparently, the Pentagon coming out now and saying that they will not impose any new limits for Ukraine to use any Western weapons or weapons that are provided from the United States. So this is major escalation now, even further, as it looks like potentially even moving forward, who knows if the United States would lift restrictions completely for Ukraine to use any weapons that are provided for them to strike targets inside Russian territory. I also have some things I want to show you guys on X as well, as we had just a couple days ago a video coming out from Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, once again coming out warning the West about using long range weapons to strike inside of Russia, that this would be NATO soldiers firing this, not Ukraine. So I want to talk more about that as well. But first, I want to jump on over here to this article and share this with you from Reuters. No new limits on Ukraine's use of U.S. arms if North Korea joins Russia's fight, says the Pentagon. This came out just yesterday, again, October 28th, 2024. And it says down here, the U.S. will not impose new limits on Ukraine's use of American weapons if North Korea joins Russia's war, the Pentagon said on Monday, as NATO said North Korean military units had been deployed to the Kursk region in Russia. The North Korea deployment is fanning Western concerns that the 2.5 year conflict in Ukraine could widen, even as attention shifts to the Middle East. It could signal how Russia hopes to offset mounting battlefield losses and continue making slow, steady gains in eastern Ukraine. The deepening military cooperation between Russia and North Korea is a threat to both Indo-Pacific and Euro-Atlantic security, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte told reporters after talks with a South Korean delegation about North Korean deployments. We talked about this yesterday. Okay, and it says U.S. President Joe Biden said the development was very dangerous. Okay, this was coming out from the President of the United States. Pentagon estimated 10,000 North Korean troops had been deployed to eastern Russia for training, up from an estimate of 3,000 troops last Wednesday. So I also reported to you guys a few days ago that there was some information coming out on X that potentially the North Koreans were going to send another 10,000 over to Russia for training. This would bump up the level to over 20,000 deployed troops coming from the North Koreans to join this fight against Ukraine. Also says here a portion of those soldiers have already moved closer to Ukraine, and we are increasingly concerned that Russia intends to use these soldiers in combat or to support combat operations against Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk Oblast near the border with Ukraine, said Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh, using a term for a Russian region. The Kremlin had initially dismissed reports about a North Korean deployment as fake news, but Putin on Thursday did not deny North Korean troops were in Russia and said it was Moscow's business how to implement a partnership treaty with Pyongyang. Okay, so neither Russia or North Korea is coming out and confirming this, but they continue to come out and say that, well, we have a treaty partnership and military agreement with each other's nations, so we will support each other if need be. But they have not officially come out and confirmed that North Korean troops are in Russia. Also, from the Russian leader, also said over the weekend that Moscow will respond accordingly if the U.S. and its allies help Ukraine to strike deep into Russia, with Moscow seeing the West's potential approval as direct involvement of NATO into the war. I'll show you guys the video from that from Vladimir Putin in just a minute. The United States, however, has given no indication that it will approve Ukraine's deep strike request. A North Korean foreign ministry official did not confirm media reports about a troop deployment to Russia, but said if Pyongyang had taken such an action, he believed it would be in line with international norms. Okay, it also says down here, Ukrainian military intelligence said on Thursday that the first North Korean units had been recorded in the Kursk border region, where Ukrainian troops have been operating since staging a major incursion in August, but the Pentagon declined to confirm that North Korean forces were already in Kursk. It is likely that they are already moving in that direction towards Kursk, but I don't have any more details yet, Singh said. Okay, so that was according to the Pentagon coming out and not confirming for sure that North Korean forces are in the Kursk region, but NATO came out and confirmed that already. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the move was an escalation by Russia. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said Kiev had been warning about the deployment for weeks and accused allies of failing to deliver a strong response. The bottom line: listen to Ukraine. The solution: lift restrictions on our long-range strikes against Russia now, he said on X. Okay, that was according to the Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha of Ukraine. So obviously, Ukraine's still calling for long-range strikes, and the U.S. and its partners have so far not come to the table and said, you know what, we'll allow Ukraine to do this. They're obviously afraid of escalation from Russia or potentially even nuclear war. We already know that Vladimir Putin has warned about nuclear war many times, and we're going to talk some more about that as we move on here. So I just want to show you a few things here on X real quick before we get you out of here. From Statecraft, says here, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that Moscow is preparing various responses should NATO allow Ukraine to use long-range Western weapons, to strike inside Russian territory. Okay, so you can see this came out yesterday. So Russia coming out even more again recently and warning about strikes inside of their country. Okay, so obviously it looks like we're starting to get very tense in this department of allowing Ukraine to strike inside of Russia. So we're going to be talking more about this again probably over the next week, as it looks like we could definitely see some escalation in this war now that North Korean troops have joined. Okay, also, I showed you guys this on our video this morning regarding Ukraine, but in case you didn't see this, I wanted to show you this from Military News UA. In the secret parts of the victory plan, Zelensky's asking for Tomahawk missiles with a range of 2,400 kilometers. The New York Times quoted U.S. officials. The range of Tomahawk is 7 times that of ATACMS. Okay, so here's a picture of one of these Tomahawk cruise missiles. If Ukraine were to get these, it would definitely be a major upgrade for them, and they'd be able to strike targets way deep into Russian territory. Obviously, this would be major escalation for Russia as well. And Russia's been coming out warning a lot, especially Vladimir Putin, that if any strikes occur inside of their territory, that they would respond accordingly. And I'm going to show you guys that video but this was apparently part of the victory plan that Volodymyr Zelensky has recently unveiled over the last week or two to many nations, including Ukraine. And looks like he was requesting secretly to receive some of these Tomahawk missiles. So let's see if this is going to be a thing. But apparently some U.S. senior officials were coming out and saying that this would be unrealistic for Ukraine to receive this. So it's highly unlikely that they will get it. But we'll see if they do end up receiving them. That would be absolutely huge for Ukraine. Also from Anton Gerashenko, Putin is bringing up the subject of long-range strikes on Russian territory again. This is what he really fears. It is something that will allow Ukraine to actually defend itself against Russian terror. So I want to show you guys this video here, as I actually saw this coming out over the weekend on October 27, 2024. I think it came out on Saturday, and I kind of just brushed over this because when I saw this, I was like, well, this is just Vladimir Putin once again talking about nuclear war, as he's talked about many times in the past. But then when all this information started coming out now on Sunday and Monday leading up to today, I noticed that the reason why he's discussing this is because the West is thinking about once again allowing Ukraine to strike inside of Russia. So I want you guys to see this in case you haven't seen Vladimir Putin's stance on long-range strikes inside of Russian territory and how they plan to react to it. And also today I reported to you guys that Vladimir Putin ordered his military forces to prepare for nuclear war, and they're currently undergoing nuclear war drills. Okay, so take a look at this, 1 minute and 30 seconds long.
В Санкт-Петербурге, когда вот резко активизировались в Европе и в США разговоры о том, что Киеву может быть дано разрешение на нанесение дальнобойных ударов вглубь территории России, вы дали понять, что это будет означать, что НАТО прямо воюет с Россией. На ваш взгляд, услышали они эти ваши слова, ваши сигналы?
Они мне об этом ничего не сообщали. Но, надеюсь, услышали. Потому что, конечно, мы должны будем для себя тоже принимать какие-то решения. Дело ведь не в том, что разрешат или не разрешат кому-то применять это оружие против России. Я уже говорил об этом и в своем самом первом заявлении, когда это было в Петербурге. Украинские войска не могут применять это оружие самостоятельно. Это могут делать только специалисты стран НАТО, потому что нужна для этого космическая разведка, которой у Украины, естественно, нет, мы это понимаем. Нужны специалисты, которые будут на основе данных этой разведки вводить полетные задания и целый ряд других манипуляций совершать. Это самостоятельно украинская армия делать не в состоянии, не может. Поэтому и то, что сейчас происходит, это делается все руками натовских офицеров. Вопрос только в том, разрешат они сами себе наносить удары вглубь российской территории или нет. Вот в этом вопрос. Ну и, естественно, мы должны быть на это соответствующим образом реагировать. Как реагировать, когда, где конкретно, ну, об этом пока рановато говорить. Но, разумеется, наше военное ведомство над этим думает и будет предлагать различные варианты ответов.
Okay, so if you notice towards the end there, he did mention that they are preparing various responses, just like the post I showed you guys on X. So they are definitely getting ready for long range strikes inside of their territory. And it makes me really wonder if this is coming next. It could definitely be coming, and NATO and the US could lift restrictions for Ukraine to strike inside of Russia. And if you notice here as well, he also said that that NATO would have to be the party launching these strikes inside of Russia, that Ukraine does not have the ability to do this, that it would require satellite technology and also NATO operators on the ground inside of Ukraine to input the flight coordinates for these missiles to strike inside of Russia. So obviously that would mean that NATO is firing these into Russia, not Ukraine. So definitely very scary situation over here, guys. Just wanted you to see how Vladimir Putin feels about strikes inside of his territory, in case you haven't seen him talk like this before. There was one other instance where there was a video coming out of him being interviewed probably about a month or two ago, where he talked about this, and he's definitely not okay with it, and it definitely appears to be a red line for Russia. So just wanted to share some details coming out in terms of long-range strikes inside of Russian territory. We'll see if the U.S. and NATO partners allow Ukraine to do this. But if they do allow them to do this, I'm very curious to see how Russia will respond to this. But as you can see here, he said that they have various responses to that. So let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.